storytelling. Since the dawn of human civilization, mankind has passed down the lessons of their ancestors generation upon generation. Storytelling itself is the essence of human culture, the means of preserving and presenting the histories we remember and the fantasies we can never forget. As man's technologies improved, so did their stories. Greek dramas, Western literature, music, paintings, and eventually, in due time, cinema. As the public flocked to the big screen, so did the artists, scripting new and inventive plots and stories to intrigue and delight. They began as simple narratives, a man coming to America, damsel in distress, and so on. As our technologies improved, the modern Hollywood blockbuster was born, and the streamlining of stories in film became common practice, with straightforward plots dominating the market for almost half a century now. And yet, even as we're fed special effects and huge budget and spectacle, it almost seems like the art of storytelling is at a standstill, a virtual stopping point for creativity when it comes to watching a narrative on screen. What could ever be more expressive or intuitive than an engaging, well-made film? Truly, the next evolution in expressing a story, video games, hold the key to giving the consumer the most in-depth and engaging plots of all time. When movies can transport you to other worlds and take in stunning visuals and memorable scores, video games do all of that and more, letting the player move and influence the narrative, no longer tied down to their chairs and forced to accept the action on screen. Will you save the princess, or maybe you'll fail? Will you go left in the next section, or you're gonna go right? The point is, even the smallest elements of choice in a video game let it stand out from the linear, straightforward path of narrative in cinema. Not surprisingly, video game stories started out just as simply as film ones did. Simple plots, themes, but games too have evolved into something much grander. Multi-million-dollar franchises with billions of dollars of merchandise and revenue annually. And as well as films, there are diamonds in the rough, certain games that take risks and break from the mold. Independent game studios and classic film movement directors share much in common, including their often unexpected and unique design choices. For instance, take a look at Federico Fellini's 8½, a true masterpiece of Italian neorealism exploring themes of life, its meaning, and relationships both platonic and erotic. The film contains many strange visuals that come from random, like flashbacks without warning or fantasies that viewers are presented ambiguously. Is this all a dream of Guido's, or is it real? In this end scene, the climax of the film, the world seems to be turning upside down for Guido, who, seemingly out of random, draws a gun from his coat and shoots himself in the head. This visualization of self-destruction, as well as the general absurdity of the events that had transpired in the story, can be seen echoed quite heavily in 2012's Spec Ops: The Line, a video game about one soldier's quest to save a city and punish the man responsible for impeding his journey. Or so he thinks. When you, the player, reach the end of the game, it becomes quite apparent that all is not what it seems, and that you've been misled by your own eagerness to finish the story, to find out what happens at the end. In a moment of apparent fourth wall break, the villain, whom we've imagined existing this whole time, speaks directly to the player, telling us,
"The truth, Walker, is that you're here because you wanted to feel like something you are not, a hero."
This not only applies to the protagonist's journey thus far, but to us, the player, who bought this game expecting a shoot-'em-up fantasy, where we too thought we'd be the hero coming to save the day, when in reality, the outcome was much different. With this knowledge in mind, all of the violence we committed never had to take place if we just stopped. We're faced with a choice. Should Walker take his own life, end the hell on earth he's dragged himself into? Or maybe continue to refuse the obvious and not accept the reality presented? Just imagine the kind of movie 8½, would have been, where you, the viewer, able to choose. Does Guido pull the trigger, thus transcending into some strange afterlife like we're shown in the film? Or instead, does he hold back, changing the outcome forever? This is precisely why video game narratives have so much potential, so much value as experiences, as each ending results in a different and bold take on the story you were given throughout the game. In more recent memory, games like 2015's Undertale have shown just how powerful independently made games can be. With an unforgettable story and well-written dialogue, The Thing is a true genre buster and really showed off the power of cinematic conventions when layered onto interactive games. There are several times where the mechanics of the game are fundamentally changed just to move the story along and add an extra layer of interesting detail. Legends like Kurosawa, Kubrick, Fellini, and more have impacted development and creation of these games and stories assuredly. Only time will tell as to what exciting narratives can be created and engaged with in video games. And as they come about, the influence of the classic films that inspired them will live on.